everyone, and welcome. Welcome to Unstoppable Conversations. And I have Ron here with me today, and I'm excited. So, Ron, tell me a little bit about you, your business, and how do you help others?
Sure. First of all, I'm all by myself, and my company helps small, mid sized firms to become their absolute best. I work with people at all different levels, helping them truly to be their best selves through education, training, coaching. A lot of it is the classic soft skills, emotional intelligence, delegating, listening, how to give feedback, all of these different things. One of the other things that I've become very interested in lately too is organizational culture. And so I've been doing a lot of that. And, so many people say it, LaDonna, and for me, it is just absolutely true. It is so gratifying for me to be able to make a difference in people's lives. And that's what I do.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So, what is your number one passion about helping others?
I think one of the things I love about it, number one, it's so helpful, obviously, for organizations and how people work together. Additionally, the other thing I love about it is how my work overlaps into people's personal lives. I mean, I got
Yes.
such a nice compliment many years ago that I'll never forget. I had just finished doing a 2 day leadership class for Sanofi Aventis, the pharmaceutical company. We've wrapped up and everybody is saying goodbye. We're shaking hands and everything else. A guy comes up to me, shakes my hand. Ron, thank you so much. I got so much out of this. I was like, oh, good. I'm glad. And he said quietly, and he sort of looked around. He didn't want anybody to overhear him. He was like, it was something else too. And I had an idea where he was going. And I was like, what? He said, Ron, this was 2 days of fabulous marriage counseling.
That's exciting. Now that is a nice way to end a 2 day conference,
Yes,
right?
yes, it
Yes,
is. And
yes.
and truly, I mean, it's a wonderful way to end it. It's also accurate. These principles, are applicable in anyone's life, in any sort of relationship.
That's exciting. That is awesome. So, do you do one-on-one training or is it all group training?
Yeah, it's all different. I mean, it really
Okay.
is. I do one-on-one coaching, I do class facilitation, I do a lot of work for the American Management Association where we have people from different companies in the room. I will work with organizations just exclusively. So really the whole gamut.
That's awesome. Now, you talked about being at a summit. Do you do a lot of summits, a lot of work, go and speak on stages? Do you
Oh
do a
yeah,
lot of
yeah.
that?
Yeah, I've done
Okay.
that. I
Do
have
you
done that,
travel
sure.
just the US or are you worldwide?
No, it's been domestic. I haven't had any invitations yet overseas. I would certainly welcome
Yes, why not,
that.
right? I know I love to get on the stage and speak and teach. I know that if I'm speaking, I'm teaching, and that's what I love to do. And I'm glad to hear that you do the same. You love to teach others and show them how to respond differently in different situations. So, what do most of your clients come to you with their needs?
That's interesting too, because a lot of times they will come to me, Ron, we need management training. Ron, we need communication training, whatever it might be. And the one thing in which I'm such a big believer is making sure I understand what they're looking for and helping them to understand what they actually need, because so often it turns into something different.
Yes.
And again, to go back to the culture for a moment, I was talking to two people from a food company here in New Jersey where we live. And it was a chief operating officer, chief financial officer. And they were saying, Ron, we need management training desperately. We need people to learn how to listen, and we need delegating, and just all these different things. And I was like, okay, gentlemen, I agree. You do need that. Except before we do any sort of training, we need to help you develop a formal culture for this company, because otherwise you're spinning your wheels. You're going to spend money that's going to get you no return on your investment whatsoever. And that's what we ended up doing.
I do know when I coach, I come with the same thing is that so many times they need different things than what they ever thought they needed. Sometimes when you start diving in deeper, you go to a whole different situation with a person or even a group,
That's
depending
right.
on what you're doing. So that's awesome. So, if you had to narrow it down, what is probably your most popular or most needed situation?
I think probably the biggest things that companies need, number one, and if I need to boil it down like that, emotional intelligence is always going to be applicable for anybody across the board, regardless of level. That's critical. And it's interesting too, because one thing that I love to do, I am a voracious reader. I'm constantly reading about leadership, management related topics. And something I read recently coming from younger people in the workforce is how unbelievably dissatisfied they are relative to how people listen. So nobody listens to us. Nobody understands. And, the ideas we have are just dismissed out of hand. So, I mean, listening is a big thing. Feedback, how to give feedback, how to receive feedback is also critical.
Everything you said is so true. I see it in my everyday world. I see it with my grandchildren, which are young adults. And that's true. We have forgotten how to listen, or maybe we never learned really how to listen. I'm guilty. I think we're all guilty in some way, some form, some days that where we want to talk more than what we want to listen. And
That's right.
listening is a key factor in any kind of relationship building.
That's right.
Workforce, in entrepreneurship, in your home life, listening.
Yeah, I'm very very fortunate, very blessed that I'm certified to teach the 7 habits of highly effective people by Stephen Covey. And habit 5 for him, seek first to understand, then to be understood. And the whole habit revolves around good listening skills. And again, the one quote that I love, he just says, so many people listen with the intent to reply, not to understand. And that is so true. And I still do that occasionally. I'll catch myself, oh, that's how I'm going to counter that comment. Oh, that doesn't make sense. No, I can dig into that or whatever it might be. And it's like, Ron, you're not listening. You're not listening. Stop it. Stop it. Listen. Then you can think about your response.
Yes. But aren't we all guilty of that sometime or another?
Absolutely, absolutely. Yes. And here's another piece to it too, though. And one of the things I also love about what I do is how everything connects together. Because the one part of emotional intelligence, at least the way that I like to present it, is I just ask people, again, whether it's one-on-one or with a group, how fair is it to say we all make mistakes at work? Oh, absolutely, Ron. No two ways about it. What do you do when you make a mistake? You admit it quickly.
Yes.
I'm not perfect. I'm sorry. I wasn't listening right there, LaDonna. Please, can you repeat that? I apologize. Again, whatever the situation might be. And what's the message you're sending to people? I'm listening or whatever it might be. I'm sorry. I want to do right by you. I hope that can strengthen the relationship.
Absolutely. You know what, Ron? That keeps us authentic. That lets the other person know we're not a robot. We are really humans.
Right.
I want to reflect back. You said emotional, how did you say it? Emotional intelligence.
Emotional intelligence, yeah.
How do you really teach that? I want to know, how do you really start to teach that?
I do it a lot differently than others. A lot of people, when people hear the term, emotional intelligence, it's okay, yeah, you need to be aware of your emotions and be aware of other people's emotions. That's a part of it. The way I like to approach it too is helping people to really, really get to know themselves on a deeper level. And what I talk about is, what are your strengths? What do you do really well? And you need to be able to articulate that. And we practice this as people saying their strengths out loud and letting it's like, hey, how does that build credibility? How does that build relationships? Well, because it shows I know myself. It shows that I'm confident. Exactly. And then on the other side of that, we all have limitations. So we practice saying your limitations out loud too. And it's like, when is it important to let people know about your limitations? Hey, if I'm giving them a assignment where I'm not ready for it, or it's something where I'm going to struggle, or whatever it might be. And it's the same thing. It's the authenticity.
That is so true. So true. Ron, this has been a really great talk, and I hope everyone's really listening to what Ron is saying. Ron, how is the best way for people to reach out to you?
Probably the best way is through LinkedIn. Very, very simply, just you can Google my name, you can Google RLB Training and Development, or again, simply go to LinkedIn and look me up that way, and I'll be glad to chat with anybody.
Awesome. That's good to know. Before we go, Ron, is there anything else that you want our viewers to know about what you do and how you help others?
You know what? No, not really. I mean, I think if there's any one tip I can leave with, it would be what I just said, is that if anybody wants to be truly effective, get to know yourself really, really well, because the better you know yourself, the more effective you'll be with everybody.
Get to know yourself. I love that. We don't think about that enough, Ron. I really don't think we do. I mean, you probably do because you teach it. Just as us people that don't teach it, that's not taking the class, we probably really don't do it often enough or even think about it enough. But really get to know myself. That's pretty awesome. I love that, Ron. Thank you so very much for being here with me today. And until next time, have a beautiful rest of your day. Thank you so much.